A news hour tonight. Vice President Shettima visits Kaiama, assures residents of Tinubu's commitment to restore peace. Plateau confirms 11 Lassa fever cases, 4 deaths. Tragedy in Katsina as 18 die in wedding convoy crash. On the foreign scene, Trump signs order threatening tariffs for countries trading with Iran. Good evening, this is News Hour on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. We'll start off with the situation in Kwara State, where Vice President Kashim Shettima has visited the capital Ilorin to commiserate with the government and people of the state over Tuesday's attack on Wuru community in Kaiama local government area. At the Government House, the Vice President announced that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has been directed to mobilize all resources in partnership with the Kwara State Emergency Management Agency to provide relief for the affected communities. Here's more in this report.
Senator Shettima's aircraft landed at the General Tunde Idiagbon International Airport, Ilorin, at about 10:30 this morning. The Vice President was accompanied by the Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, Senators Ali Ndume, Emmanuel Udende, and Ovie Omoagege. He was received at the airport by Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak before proceeding to the banquet hall of the Government House. Speaking at the Government House in Ilorin, Vice President Kashim Shettima described the killings in Wuru as tragic, noting that Nigerians were deeply shocked because the victims were peaceful community members committed to earning their livelihoods. Senator Shettima disclosed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the deployment of a battalion of the Nigerian Army to Kaiama, assuring that all necessary measures are being taken to restore peace and tranquility in the affected areas. He added that the President has also directed the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, to mobilize resources in collaboration with the State Emergency Management Agency to support distressed communities.
The Kaiama and Baruten and even the Batonu speaking parts of Old Borgo that spreads into Niger and Kebbi State and even overlaps into the neighboring Benin Republic have been known for practicing the most tolerant form of Islam for centuries, until an alien religious belief, alien to our history, alien to our tradition, invaded those communities. Please accept our heartfelt condolences on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum, Babagana Zulum, prayed for Almighty Allah to grant the souls of the deceased eternal rest and reward them with Al-Jannah.
On behalf of the governors of the Northeastern State of Nigeria, I want to convey our deepest appreciation to His Excellency, the Governor of Kwara State, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kaiama, and indeed the entire Kaiama community for what has happened.
In his response, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak expressed appreciation to the Vice President for the visit and the condolences over the incidents. He also commended the swift response of the federal government, particularly the deployment of security personnel and NEMA to provide relief to victims.
I welcome the presidency here. I welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We thank you for this visit. We appreciate you coming to Kwara over the sad incidents that happened in Kaiama local government. The response of the federal government has been very swift As confirmed by the local government chairman, troops are already on ground. The Operation Savannah Shield is in motion.
The vice president later departed Kwara State for other official engagements.
Away from that, United States lawmaker Riley Moore has warned that encouraging separatist agenda in Nigeria could worsen insecurity and leave Christians more exposed. In a statement posted on his X account, Moore said he visited Nigeria on a fact-finding mission to understand claims of persecution, meeting government officials, church leaders, and aid groups and displaced persons. He said the idea of breaking up the country did not arise in any serious form during his engagements, stressing that moves to embolden separatists would hurt Christians, particularly in the North and Middle Belt. Moore cautioned that a destabilized Nigeria would strengthen terrorist groups and spread insecurity beyond its borders. He welcomed the new security cooperation agreement between Washington and Abuja and reaffirmed his commitment to supporting all Nigerians affected by extremist violence. To security-related matters, gunmen have abducted a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Nathaniel Ashuwaye, alongside 10 other persons in Karaku community of Koru local government area of Kaduna State. The clergyman, who is the parish priest of the Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Karaku, was taken from his residence during a dawn attack that occurred around 3:20 a.m. on Friday. A statement issued by the Catholic Diocese of Kafanchan, signed by Very Reverend Father Jacob Shennet, the diocesan chancellor, described the incident as a violent invasion by armed men. According to the diocese, the attack has also killed 3 residents of the community during the raid. The victims were identified as Mr. Jacob Dan Azumi, Mr. Maitala Kaura, and Alhaji Kusari. The statement noted that the abductors stormed the area in large numbers, creating fear and confusion among villagers before taking their captors away to an unknown destination. While security agencies are yet to issue an official statement on the incident, the diocese has called on all priests, religious, lay faithful, and people of goodwill to intensify prayers for the safe release of Father Ashuwaye and the other abductees. Security operatives have neutralized an improvised explosive device, IED, planted by suspected terrorists along the Dangjigba-Kuchin-Kalgo axis in the Safi local government area of Zamfara State. The operation was carried out by a combined force of the Police Explosive Ordnance Disposal Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Unit, the Anti-Kidnapping Unit and the Military EOD, with heavy security backup from the Zamfara State Police Command. In a statement issued on Saturday, the spokesman of the police command, Yazid Abubakar, said the operation, which took place on Friday, was led by SP Abdulrazak Musa Hassan. He also said the security team applied standard render safe procedures to professionally and safely neutralize a pressure plate IED discovered at the location. The command spokesman stated that following a comprehensive sweep and technical assessment of the area, the axis was declared safe and free of any additional IED threats, thereby restoring safety for commuters and residents. He called on members of the public to remain vigilant and continue providing timely and credible information to security agencies to support ongoing security efforts across the state. We go to health matters, where in Plateau State, the government has confirmed an outbreak of Lassa fever affecting 7 local government areas of the state, with 4 deaths recorded and confirmed cases rising to 11. The affected local government areas are Konpan, Shandam, Wase, Langtan South, Jos North, Jos South, and Mango. Adu Musa tells us more in this report.
Briefing journalists at the Ministry of Health in Jos, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Nicholas Bamlong, confirmed the outbreak, revealing that 4 persons have died from the disease, while confirmed cases have increased to 11 across the affected local government areas.
So far, we have had about 28 suspected cases just this year alone, and 6 of them confirmed positive. meaning that from that December till now, 11 positive cases have been confirmed. And out of that 11 confirmed cases, we've recorded 4 deaths. 2 deaths occurred at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, 1 at the Plateau Specialist Hospital, and 1 at the Bingham University Teaching Hospital. Of those deaths, one of them is a medical practitioner that attended to an infected patient. And as at today, another medical doctor is also on admission and receiving treatment, meaning that we have 2 doctors that are involved. And we have also have about 109 contacts so far that are being followed up as at today.
The commissioner explained that the state government has put in place strategic measures to prevent further spread of the disease, including intensified surveillance, public sensitization, and rapid response interventions.
So what we are currently doing is to continue active case search through surveillance, and of course we are deploying our state rapid response team to affected communities. Drugs that are required for the treatment, we've also pre-positioned them to the facilities for treatment, including the personal protective equipments, and these currently are at the Jos University Teaching Hospital and the Plateau Specialist Hospital. We are therefore calling on the public to, as much as possible, adhere to preventive measures. And these preventive measures are not too difficult to be done. The environmental sanitation is very key. We are also encouraging personal hygiene. People should learn to always wash their hands whenever they either touch something or they're about to eat, they go to toilet or whatever.
While urging residents to strictly adhere to the preventive measures, Dr. Bamlon assured the public that essential drugs for the treatment of Lassa fever are readily available at the Jos University Teaching Hospital and Plateau Specialist Hospital. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
To further discuss and help us understand the situation in Plateau, joining us via phone call is consultant infectious disease physician at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Nandam Bitrus. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on News Hour tonight. Doctor, could you hear us? Good evening, Doctor. Can you hear us? We'll circle back to the phone call as the news bulletin progresses. Still on health-related matters, experts have urged Nigerians to consume more of boiled eggs and other foods than fried ones, saying cooked food is healthier. Speaking to Trust TV's Victoria Tokolo in Lagos, they emphasized that the mode of preparing food plays a significant role in determining their impact on overall health. Her report is presented from our studios.
In Nigeria, eggs remain one of the most affordable sources of protein. They are rich in essential nutrients that support muscle growth, brain function, and overall body health. Consuming eggs regularly is generally beneficial. However, medical professionals warn that how eggs are prepared is just as important as their nutritional value, especially for adults. According to health experts, frequent consumption of fried foods, particularly fried eggs, can increase the risk of health conditions such as high cholesterol, heart disease, and obesity, especially when prepared with excessive oil. They explain that boiling eggs is a healthier option for adults as it helps retain their protein content without the added fats associated with frying.
For me, as a medical person, I would tell an adult to take more of boiled eggs, like boiled food, compared to fried food. Because there's something they call cholesterol. I don't know if you've heard about the word cholesterol. Now, we have good cholesterol, we have bad cholesterol. Now, the good cholesterol are known as low density lipoprotein, very low density lipoprotein, while the bad cholesterol is known as the high density lipoprotein. Now, most of the oil we have in Nigeria are bad oil. And when individuals and people use this kind of oil to fry things in their houses or this canteen and all that, it tends to trigger the high density lipoprotein. And when when this bad cholesterol pile up in the system, it leads to a medical condition known as atherosclerosis.
Meanwhile, Lagos residents share their views on how often they consume eggs and their preferred method of preparation, explaining why they choose one option over the other.
There's no one that does not consume egg. It depends. Some people might have sickness issue for not consuming egg, but mostly people consume egg. But as for me, I prefer fried egg than boiled egg because I so much love something that is fried.
I love boiled egg because of the process it takes to get it prepared. Just like put it inside the water and get it boiled. Unlike fried eggs that you need to put oil in the frying pan and put in maybe some seasoning, some ingredients to suit it to your perfect taste. Boil one at a time. I eat every day. I eat egg every day by day.
Medical practitioners say consuming boiled eggs instead of fried ones help reduce calorie intake, support heart health, and makes digestion easier, making it a better option for adults seeking a balanced diet.
I'm not saying that there are no good oil in Nigeria. There are good oil, but most of the oil we have in the market today are not refined. They are not properly refined. So it is advisable, number one, even if you want to fry the food, you get the good oil, a well-known oil from the right source. Because of this cholesterol issue that could go and block the blood vessel, leading to other health challenges as well.
Eggs remain a valuable part of an adult diet, but how they are prepared matters most. By choosing boiled eggs over fried ones, adults can enjoy the nutritional benefits of eggs while reducing health risk linked to excessive oil and fat intake.
Now, circling back to our earlier conversation in the Plateau situation with Lassa Fever, is the doctor joining us via phone call to help us best understand what's happening in this state. Dr. Nandam Bitrus, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for joining us in News Hour tonight.
Thank you, too.
Okay, so let's start with the numbers. 11. Would we say that is... I know they would say people dying and all that, but is that a reasonable number, or is that actually a quite high number that could cause worry in the state?
Yes, with infectious diseases, a single patient is an important epidemiological risk. So it must not get up to 11 before one will, raise alarm. So 11 is quite significant, yes.
Okay, so now could we say that there were maybe early warning signs that were probably not noticed and could have actually avoided this outbreak so far? Because listening to the speaker earlier in the story, he said about 160 people so far have been traced through contact. Could this issue have been somehow, managed and not gotten to this point?
For Lassa fever, with knowledge available to us, we know that towards the end of the year and early part of the year as well, there are outbreaks of cases of Lassa, especially in Jos Plateau, where I practice. Yes, but then it's caution on both the side of the doctors and the side of the community. Because if we are aware of what we need to do in order to protect, to interrupt the transmission from the community, like ensuring that the environment is properly, cleaned, ensuring that rats are far away from our households and all that, we can prevent that. And on the side of the doctors themselves, if you are aware that around this period of time, cases like that are likely going to show up, and then you protect yourself, thinking that every person that comes to you is likely an infectious case. By so doing, you can avert a lot of disaster.
Now, this plateau cases, Doctor, I know that, yes, the Lassa fever comes mostly from rodents, but so far, could we say that this is more a rodent-to-human transmission, or has it now escalated to human-to-human transmission?
Like the patients we have, of course, we lost a colleague at the hospital recently. It's actually a human-to-human transmission, which is secondary transmission, actually. Yes, so it's a healthcare worker offering healthcare services to a patient, and then he or she gets contracted of the diseases. So it's secondary contraction for us. Hello?
Okay, all right. Now, first of all, accept our condolences of the loss of your colleague. May her soul or his soul rest in peace. But away from healthcare workers who are at risk of getting this, what other groups of people could we say are equally at risk of contracting this disease and equally transmitting it?
Just as I mentioned earlier, most of the environments where there are a lot of rats, there's actually a risk of transmission in such environments. And it's clear that if food items are, spread on the floor or on flat surfaces where these rodents get access to, that poses a risk as well. But we're also aware that there are certain parts of Nigeria or parts of the community generally where people actually eat rats as a delicacy. So that actually bring them in contact with the vector of this disease. So of course they will also pose, they'll be at higher risk of getting the infection than those people who are not taking rats as delicacies,
All
so
right.
that they are, okay.
Okay. Now, Doctor, what more can you tell us? How could this situation be best managed? One of the questions I want to ask is, we've had the stories about someone called Typhoid Mary. In the case of Lassa fever, is it possible to have a carrier who is not presenting with symptoms and just keep spreading it, like the case of the Typhoid Mary of many years ago?
For the case of Lassa fever, most times in the vectors may present with little or no symptoms. So they carry the virus inside them, the virus multiplies, and they seemingly they don't present with any symptom. But for humans, they usually present with symptoms, even though the level of presentation varies. So some may just present with malaria-like symptoms, something just like flu, just some fever and all that. While some people might present with severe, manifestations like bleedings and all that. Yes. So just as I said earlier, the call for me is caution, whether from the community or from the health institution. We should just be careful, for anybody can carry anything. So if we maintain and observe adequate infection prevention and control practices, yes, the chances of getting infected is quite slim.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Nandum Betrus, for your insights on the Lassa fever situation.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to other stories, what was meant to be a moment of joy has ended in tragedy as no fewer than 18 people died following a fatal road accident involving a commercial vehicle and a wedding convoy in Dutsenma local government area of Katsina State. Men, women and children lost their lives in the crash, which occurred about half a kilometer after Faguwa village, a few kilometers before Karufi, along the Dutsenma-Kankai road. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamidi, who visited the scene, as well as survivors and grieving families in Karufi and Wugagadi villages, tells us more.
Scattered belongings and an airy silence now mark the spot where celebrations suddenly turned to sorrow. Contrary to earlier reports, Trust TV can confirm that the bride and groom are alive and in stable condition. The couple had traveled ahead of the convoy, hoping to avoid a night journey. However, tragedy struck those who followed behind. Eyewitnesses say several victims died at the scene, prompting villagers and emergency responders to recover the remains for burial. The situation worsened hours later when 2 injured victims died in hospital, bringing the total death toll to 18. People were saying the bride and groom died, but they are alive. What we witnessed was terrible. I lost my elder sister, my son, and my younger brother. 2 others later died in the hospital. It is very painful. Grief hangs heavily over Karufi and Wagagadi villages as mourners wept openly and families struggled to come to terms with the sudden loss of loved ones. For some households, the accident claimed more than one family member, leaving deep emotional scars. My name is Gaddafi Shehu. When the accident happened, my wife and I were already at home. Most of those who died were our relatives. I lost about 3 or 4 people. I'm emotionally drained. Still visibly shaken, the groom says neither he nor his bride was part of the convoy at the time of the accident, having traveled earlier. He explains that many of those who died were close relatives. What should have marked the beginning of a new chapter has now been overshadowed by mourning and sorrow. Road safety experts continue to warn that overspeeding, reckless driving, poor road conditions, and night travel remain major causes of fatal accidents across Nigeria. We sympathize deeply with the families of the victims. The crash involved a wedding convoy and a commercial vehicle. Preliminary findings indicate a head-on collision caused by overspeeding and night travel. The Katsina State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps confirmed that preliminary investigations indicate the crash involved a head-on collision between a wedding convoy vehicle and a commercial bus, with overspeeding identified as a major factor. He extended condolences to the affected families and urged motorists to exercise caution, particularly during night journeys. These accidents may have occurred in moments, but its impact will linger for a lifetime. For the families left behind, the loss is profound and irreparable. Abdullahi Izmayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Minister of Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, has said the people of Rivers State do not need a governor to mobilize support for President Bola Tinubu come 2027. Wike speaking on Saturday in Port Harcourt while commissioning Rivers State Renewed Hope Ambassadors Headquarters, housing Majority FM 89.5 Situation Room, office facilities, as well as buses for the office, made the statement in what appears as mocking the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, who had joined the All Progressives Congress APC last December. Fubara, an estranged godson of Wike, has been locked in a political battle ahead of the 2027 general election, with Wike trying to stop Governor Fubara's second-term ambition, though most of the Rivers people are declaring support for the governor to go for a second term, as are the previous governors of the state. Both Fubara and Wike camps are mobilizing support for President Bola Tinubu's second term, while the governor's second term is in contention. Wike, who commended the coordinator of Rivers State Renewed Hope Ambassadors, Desmond Akawo, for his mobilization drive, said Rivers State would work massively for the re-election of the president.
Whether you're a senator, whether you're a member of House of Representatives, whether you're a minister, and whether you're a governor, you sit down and support those who betray. Betrayal is your portion. Betrayal is your portion. Betrayal is your portion. And the day you will be betrayed, you will not have mouth to say anything. There you will collapse, and there you will grow. And they will announce, so person have died. Because that is the seed that you planted. Whatever you plant, you reap. Whatever you sow, you reap. So since you are sowing betrayal, betrayal will follow you everywhere.
Still in political matters, a former member of the National Assembly, Senator Yabo Obasanjo Bello, has confirmed her membership in the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in Ogun State. She made the disclosure on Saturday during an interview in Abeokuta. The daughter of former President Olusegun Obasanjo described the party as her natural home. Speaking during the interview, the former senator said her decision to return to politics was influenced by sustained pressure from her supporters. Yabo Obasanjo Bello explained that returning to the People's Democratic Party PDP, under which she last contested, was not an option due to the current internal crisis being experienced by the umbrella party. The former commissioner also revealed that the African Democratic Congress ADC was considered, but she expressed reservations about the party's preparedness. The African Alliance Party on Saturday threatened to drag the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to court for what it described as an unlawful refusal to register its platform, despite meeting all constitutional and statutory requirements. AAP is one of several political associations seeking registration ahead of the 2027 general elections, amid increasing agitation for alternative political platforms outside Nigeria's dominant parties. On Thursday, INEC approved the registration of two new political parties following what it described as a rigorous screening exercise. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amopitan, SAN, announced the decision in Abuja during the Commission's first regular consultative meeting with political parties in 2026. Amopitan disclosed that out of 171 political associations that applied for registration, only the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLE, met all statutory requirements. At the same time, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, was registered in compliance with the Federal High Court order. Reacting in a press release issued in Abuja titled, "Register AAP now or face legal action." The party accused INEC of undermining Nigeria's democracy and applying double standards in the ongoing political party registration process ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Saturday carried out a mock accreditation and voting exercise across the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, as part of preparations for the Area Council elections scheduled for February 21, 2026. The exercise was designed to assess INEC's operational readiness, test new upgrades, and further build the capacity of election officials ahead of the polls. Speaking during the trainers' session for Supervisory Presiding Officer trainees, INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amopiton urged participants to take the exercise seriously and fully acquaint themselves with the Commission's official training manual. He reminded the trainees of their statutory responsibilities and cautioned against compromise, stressing that Nigeria urgently needs a credible and stable electoral process. According to him, INEC remains committed to rebuilding public trust through rigorous training, simulations, and field testing.
We are also using this to create awareness and also to mobilize voters to come out and vote. If the BVAS functions very well, you can be sure that the whole process will be fair, to be free, and it will be credible.
This is still News Hour on Trust TV. When we return from the break, we'll take a look at Alu farmers seeking tomato processing plant, lamenting about post-harvest losses. To stay with us, the news continues. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us in News Hour tonight. Now a recap of our top stories. I told you that Vice President Shettima visits Kaiama, assures residents of Tinubu's commitment to restore peace. Also told you that Plateau confirms 11 Lassa fever cases and 4 deaths. Two more stories. Umaru Musa Yaradua University in Katsina has posthumously conferred an honorary doctorate in political science and former President Muhammadu Buhari in recognition of what it describes as his enduring contributions to national development and public service. The award, approved by the university's governing council, was presented during activities marking the institution's 14th convocation ceremony held on Saturday. University authorities say the honor reflects Buhari's commitment to Nigeria's political evolution, national unity and growth, as well as his support for the development of the tertiary education sector. They add that the posthumous recognition is intended to inspire present and future leaders. Speaking on behalf of other award recipients, former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmad Rufai, urged graduating students to uphold patriotism, integrity, and service to the nation. The ceremony also saw the presentation of degrees, diplomas, and other honorary awards. As the continuous voter registration exercise gathers momentum, a coalition of persons with disabilities has taken to the streets, calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to remove barriers that hinder their full participation in the electoral process. Here's more in this report.
Marching from the GRA flyover, members of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, in collaboration with the Stakeholder Democracy Network, staged a peaceful protest to demand greater inclusion as the continuous voter registration exercise continues nationwide. Armed with placards and a unified message, the group drew attention to the systematic challenges faced by persons with disability during elections. These include poor physical accessibility at registration center and polling units, as well as the lack of braille and other accessible voting materials. The protesters demanded that political participation is a fundamental right and should not be treated as a privilege.
IPAC, we are pleading with you, as a matter of urgency, to mandate all the political parties that are registered under you to grant persons with disabilities easy access to political offices by sponsoring their elections and sponsoring their candidacy. And as such, ensuring that persons with disabilities are part and parcel of the decision making of all political parties in Nigeria.
The process culminated in the presentation of a formal communique outlining key recommendations for a more inclusive electoral process. The document was formally handed over to officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
we are asking INEC to partner with persons with disabilities so that we can enjoy the dividends of the policies, the existing policies and laws that are already in place for persons with disabilities. We are also asking for a desk office in the local government to aid persons with disabilities, and a designated officer should be assigned for that purpose. We are asking for toll voting. We are asking for braille reading, sign interpreters. We are asking that you allow caregivers to go with disabled persons into the voting booth.
We are also saying in the ongoing reformation process in the National Assembly, we are saying that persons with disabilities should be carried along so that the presentations will actually reflect how our feelings are and our situations can carry us with respect to electoral reforms.
Responding to the petition, the INEC Administrative Secretary assured the group that their concerns were being taken seriously. She explained that while some inclusive measures are already in place, the Commission is committed to accelerating the implementation of others.
The Commission has created an online component to CVR, the Continuous Voter Registration. You can do your transfers, updates, and change of names on your phone. Also, the Commission has given you priority access at our registration centers and polling units. We give priority to people with disabilities, irrespective of the queue. The issue of letting security agencies know of the sensitivity that you face so that they'll be able to rescue in case there's an electoral violence. So we are going to look into that.
The partnership between the disability community and the Stakeholder Democracy Network is expected to sustain advocacy efforts with the aim of ensuring that INEC policies and practices reflect the need of all citizens regardless of physical ability.
In Plateau State, the Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force has raided some areas in Jos, the state capital. Human trafficking activities, drug abuse and other antisocial activities are taking place. As a result of the raid, which took place in the wee hours of Saturday, 184 persons were nabbed and they're currently in custody. They include the traffickers, recruiters and their enablers. Among them are 123 male adults, 41 female adults, 7 female minors, 9 male minors and 3 pregnant women. The Plateau State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Philemon Durfee, will lead the operation himself, told journalists on Saturday that all those arrested will be carefully profiled and those found wanting will be prosecuted accordingly. Farmers in Elu community, Borno State, have called on the government to establish a tomato processing factory to reduce post-harvest losses. Now, the farmers also decried the impact of flooding that destroyed farmlands and appealed for urgent intervention before the next rainy season. Trust TV's Beatrice Kuretsi tells us more in this report.
Alo community sits beside the Alo Dam on the outskirts of Maiduguri city. Most residents here are predominantly farmers cultivating tomatoes, onions, watermelons, pepper, and other crops. However, farmers are grappling with poor storage and preservation facilities, leading to massive waste of their produce. Irrigation farming ensures abundant harvest for the community. It takes about 4 months to cultivate tomatoes. When we harvest and cannot sell in the market, we dry them and sell later. Farming is tedious and expensive. You have to buy fuel for water pumps, fertilizers, and insecticides. Only those who are financially strong can sustain it. Otherwise, the challenges become overwhelming. We don't make such profit. Sometimes I leave the market with my produce because of transportation costs and poor patronage. Often we are forced to dispose of the tomatoes because they get rotten. I am not happy with this. I harvest 20 to 30 baskets daily, but the losses are unimaginable.
To wannan kamfani mu talaka ina mun sani mu dai wanda zai iya ya dauka nauyi shine namu ai mu
Farmers say a processing facility would boost productivity and reduce waste. They also want government support in the form of inputs such as fertilizers, insecticides, and water pumping machines. If the government can support us with tomato processing factory, it will encourage us to increase production. We are ready to work. We also need water pump machines. As you can see, my farm needs water, but I don't have the equipment. We want a processing company to be established to stop the waste. We also want affordable fertilizers. If the price can drop from 70,000 naira to 25,000 naira, it will help. We farm rice, cassava, potatoes, and many other crops here. Meanwhile, the Borno State Commissioner of Agriculture, Bawu Musami, revealed in a telephone chat that the state government has procured and installed modular tomato processing plants and other equipment, which are expected to become fully operational in the coming months.
We have, inshallah, we have called in for investors and for us to sign a partnership with any interested investor or any interested partner, whereby we'll give it out to them and they will be adding value to all excessive harvested produce that we had in the state, which is very, very important. So, inshallah, what we are going to do now is for us to cover the gap, to tell our farmers, those that produce tomato, will make sure that we tell them we have the modular processing plant, and those that are producing onion, will tell them that all preparations are in pipe. Inshallah, in the next few months, we are going to kickstart all those facilities for it to come back to life.
While awaiting the intervention, Modu and his colleagues remain committed to dry season farming in Alo community. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Residents and environmental stakeholders have called for a more sustainable and clean environment through improved sanitation practices, the provision of more waste bins, and stronger cooperation between the public and government authorities. This call comes as Trust TV assess the state of the environment around major markets in Oyo State as Governor Sheyimakinde's administration approaches its final phase. The report.
Findings indicate the poor environmental management has negatively affected internally generated revenue in many Nigerian states, while neighboring countries such as the Republic of Benin and Togo are now regarded as leaders in cleanliness within West Africa. Notably, the environment sector is one area that Seyi Makinde-led administration has acknowledged as underperforming, despite the appointment of 4 commissioners for environment since 2019. Visits to major markets, including Gbagi, Ojo, and Bodija international markets, reveal the need for stronger mechanisms to tackle environmental degradation, pollution, and poor waste management if socio-economic activities in the state are to improve. Some stakeholders called for improved cooperation between traders and the government. They also advocated for an increase in the number of waste bins within and around market areas to ensure effective waste disposal and reduce air pollution, which poses health risks to traders, motorists, and the general public. Meanwhile, a resident, Emmanuel Adegoke, suggested the reintroduction of the Thursday environmental sanitation exercise as a way to instill a culture of cleanliness among residents and traders.
How your state is clean is better, quite all right. It's better than the previous one. But the issue is that the cleaning in the environment, people have tried, and then the government have also tried. But what I want to say is that we need the cooperation of the people with the Oyo State government to make environment to be more better than this.
Okay, like most of us here, when we are going home in the night, we will clean the place, we sweep it and pack it. When we come the next day, we will clean it and pack it. And most of us, as you can see, we have waste bin there. Whatever we eat or we do, we put it inside the waste bin. And the way the waste bin is full, we will give it to those people that normally throw away those bin. And that is where they normally put it at the front of that MORS here.
Reacting to these concerns, Oyo State Governor Shettima and the newly sworn-in Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Ademola Aderito, assured residents of the government's readiness to enforce environmental laws on waste disposal, pollution and degradation.
There are things that are entrenched culturally, and we have to crack it, and we have to make our environment better. We've worked together while you were Special Assistant on Environment.
They stressed that enforcement would be carried out without fear or favor as part of efforts to address long-standing poor environmental practices in the state.
One thing I can tell you is what we've been seeing over time in the environment, in waste management, climate action, environment protection, and several other things like that, is trying to sharpen our axe. Now we're ready to cut it down. And all the things that you've not seen that we've been doing in the background, it's time to show it to the whole world, and then we'll begin to see the things that all the people want to see.
Recall that Oyo State government had inaugurated an environmental task force in the past 3 years. Many residents now hope that the new commissioner will strengthen enforcement, promote a healthier environment, and change the narrative of the state's environmental challenges.
We go to Bauchi State, where the Emir Rilwanu Adamu has applauded the Northeast Development Commission for tackling infrastructural deficits in the region, as the commission handed over education and health facilities to the state government on behalf of local communities. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports.
During a royal visit, the delegation, including National Assembly members and NEDC officials, was received by the Emir at his palace. He expressed confidence that the commission's creation will remain a milestone in the development of the Northeast.
Today we have seen most of our waste arriving to the pinnacle of success, so whereby the services rendered by the commissioner. So we appreciate you for that now. So it is on record, Your Excellency, that the Northeast Development Commission play a vital role in the development of the region. In fact, they brought our region on the map, not just as a bright beacon. So they are performing well, they are doing the needful.
Responding, the Minister of State for Regional Development, Obama Igeri Ahmadu, stressed the importance of synergy and prudent management of resources through effective appropriation.
We have 7 commissions now already created, equally divided amongst us, with primary responsibility of following up on allocations from the legislature to such commissions, so that we ensure the purpose for which the monies are appropriated are judiciously utilized.
At the formal handover, 2 key facilities were commissioned: a new edifice at Mega Secondary School along Jos Bauchi Road, and the Emergency Medicine Center at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital. The state governor, represented by his deputy, urged continued interventions to alleviate the suffering of people in the region, especially victims of insurgency.
The Commission had a kind of holistic approach to develop the infrastructures that were destroyed, to rebuild, as well as to ensure the empowerment of manpower. Hence, one of its roles is to provide technical skills, provision of essential needs such as food, assorted food items, and many more.
The delegation also inspected the abandoned ophthalmology center at the teaching hospital. Consultant explained the delays, which the Northeast Development Commission addressed, assuring the minister of the steps needed for completion. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And to the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump on Friday signed an executive order threatening tariffs on Iran's trade partners after he pledged a further round of talks with Tehran next week. The order, effective from Saturday, comes amid heightened tensions between Washington and Tehran, with an American naval group led by an aircraft carrier in Middle Eastern waters and indirect talks held on Tehran's nuclear program in Oman on Friday. The tariffs would affect trade with a number of countries, including Russia, Germany, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. It's time for sports updates with Adini Ajishafe.
World number 2 SL3 Para-Badminton and Paralympic bronze medalist Eniola Bolaji, alongside Chinyere Okoro and Chigozie Jeremiah, has battled for Para-Badminton World Championship in Bahrain, scheduled to take place from 8 to 14 February. Bolaji will compete in a second international outing of the year, following an impressive gold medal performance at Egypt International Championship in January, reaffirming her status as one of the world's top para-badminton players. Nigeria also has 2024 Paralympian Chigozie Jeremiah in men's SL4 category, while Chinyere Okoro will fly the nation's flag in women's SL4. And in tennis, Uzbekistan made a good start to their Davis Cup World Group 2 playoffs against Nigeria after Kumoyi Sultanov defeated Kanis Abua in the first match of the day at Lagos Tennis Club. Sultanov delivered a solid performance to secure a straight set 6-3-6-4 victory, handing Uzbekistan an early advantage and putting pressure on the host. The victory gave Uzbekistan the opening point of the tie and set the tone for the remaining matches, underlining their intent to make a strong push in the World Group 2 playoffs. Meanwhile, in the second game, Nigeria's number 1 tennis player Daniel Adeleye produced a comeback to defeat Abdulaziz Usmanjonov of Uzbekistan after dropping the opening set. Adeleye showed grit to record a 4-6, 6-2, 6-4 victory, earning Nigeria a crucial point and reigniting the home side's challenge in the tie. The win proved pivotal for Nigeria as the tie remained balanced in the World Cup playoffs. And in football, Nigeria's under-20 women's team Falconets fought hard to win over Senegal at MK Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta in the first leg of third-round qualifying fixtures for Poland 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria created several opportunities with only Kindness Ifeanyi's 51st minute goal to show for their dominance. Substitute Ifeanyi powered home a header from corner kick by defender Tuminino Additional to give Nigerian victory. Both teams will face off again in Dakar in the second leg of the fixture, with the winner advancing to the final round of the qualification series. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's it for News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs, documentaries, do want to follow our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight on the news. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Good night.